to Libations Friday, truly loosey-goosey, if you will, because, there could be some technical snafus. We'll see if it goes off without a hitch. Hopefully it does. If you can see me and you're watching on Warchant TV, good to be with you. And if you want to find us on Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. But, no Florida State game tomorrow. We figured if we were going to screw something up, today would be the day to screw it up if we had to. Or if we did, the repercussions wouldn't be so grand. How are you, Tommy?
I'm doing all right. Just a reminder, this is not the Sunday Smash, nor is it the Warchant Happy Hour. Just because we're in our homes, the FCC rules do still apply.
Yeah, they do. Although I will tell you, some of the language you fear was uttered under my breath quietly last night while watching the Bucs decide to pack it in and take it to the house and not really worry about the remainder of the game with a full quarter to play, because I don't know, some of us may have had -6.5, may have, I don't know. I saw that was an omnipresent Twitter complaint because the Bucs are up 28-7. That game is over, and the next thing you know, it's 28-22. And not only is it not over, there's a chance that A, you're not going to cover, and B, you could lose. You could lose if you don't convert a couple of third downs. So, don't do that, guys. Don't do the thing where you just decide I don't really feel like playing anymore. Just go score 70 on people and be done with it, because they could have named their score. That was ridiculous and frustrating. That's all right. You got to be a man. You got to be tough when you enter the realm of the odds.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit nervous because I also tweeted out, no, it's a rough night for the Philadelphia fan base. What a damn shame. They're usually so positive. I don't know how they're going to handle this. And Vita Vea was dancing on the sidelines, and everybody was having a good time. I did look down when they showed the replay of Vita dancing, and I thought, there still is a lot of time in this game. I mean, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen, but crazy things then did happen. You had 2 penalties for the Bucs that amounted to what, like 90 yards by themselves? That really aided things. And then the next thing you know, you could tell they had mentally shut down. They were good. They're ready to go into their long week, the pseudo bye after a Thursday night football game. But it's all right now. Those Thursday night short weeks, man, just get out of there with a win.
I say it every year, just get the win, but it is frustrating because they really did come out and look good early, and they did all the things that you thought that they could do, and then they decided to shut it down. But, hey, listen, bottom line is, you're right, it's a win. Bucs win, and by the way, we'll have a Scuttlebucks for you on Monday as we kind of look back at that game and then look ahead at what's next on the schedule. So win's a win is a win is a win, and you'll take it each and every time. Then we've got a big weekend here. I'm actually really excited about the weekend with no responsibilities for Florida State. Guys, just stay healthy, have a good week of practice. Everybody is good. The recruiting news continues to be good. Man, how much do we love Travis Hunter? I mean, I know you were on with Michael Langston, Warchant.com, and you guys went through recruits, and he's done a good job kind of keeping people updated with what's happening. But honestly, I don't remember. I mean, a lot of times you get a 5-star kid, you get a kid who is as high profile as he is, as popular as he is on social media, a kid who's brash, and I mean that in a good way, a kid who's as confident as he is. It's kind of rare that you're going to run into a guy, though, who's also so committed, unwaveringly so, and so I think not only committed to the school, but in a way committed to saving and making sure this class stays as impactful as it can be. By coming out constantly and producing social media posts and talking on Instagram and Twitter and by doing that incessantly, I mean, you are sending a resounding message to the other members of this class that, no, man, this is where it's at. This is where we're going. Come on with me. That kid is already well thought of and already liked and already desperately sought after. But Florida State fans, if this kid ends up staying and committing and this class stays somewhat intact because of his efforts and because of what he's been able to do, he'll be a legend before he ever plays it down here.
Yeah. I agree. It's probably not the most fair thing in the world to place that much pressure once he gets here. But, man, he relieves pressure for Noles fans. Even when we were losing and he's saying, we're 0-4, and he goes on IG Live, he's like, man, I'm not going anywhere else. It still felt like an okay day because you felt okay about the long-term direction of the program. And in talking to Michael last night, that video is available on Warchant TV, which is where part of this broadcast is being conducted. He said, I checked in with Florida State yesterday, and that would be Thursday. I checked in 3 or 4 times in the last 24 hours, and everybody still feels fine. It's important to note that if Travis Hunter is visiting Athens and he's going to Sanford Stadium, that's down the road from him. He's not a recruit from Miami, and he's getting on a plane and he's going to Athens twice. It's right down the road, and he gets a chance to watch 2 games that are essentially number 1 versus number 10 or 11 in the country. If you got those chances as an unofficial visitor to go take in some football, do it, man. Have yourself a ball and go talk to the other kids about the Noles while you're out there. I think that's in good taste.
You remember way back when we started, and back when I used to do it, ifollowthekitties.com. We would have fun at the obsession that fans have with 16 and 17-year-old kids. And that was kind of our way of poking fun, while all the while understanding the importance of recruiting, all the while understanding, as I've often said, and everybody else does too, it's the lifeblood of a program. You got to be able to recruit at a high level. But one of the things that we would poke fun at and we would talk about is that, the adults would tell kids who have the opportunity of a lifetime, many of whom have never traveled, never been outside their hometown, never really seen what it was like around the rest of the country or in other big cities, let's say. You would get adults, once a kid was talking about going to Florida State, who would come out, and this is true of all schools where you have the fringe, lunatic fringe, where they didn't want kids to take any other visits. And I know that's true even for some coaches around the country who, when they get a kid committed, they don't want them to take other visits. I used to say to that, nonsense. Now, look, if a kid's committed to Florida State, would I prefer he decide to shut it down and not go visit anybody else? Sure, that'd be nice. Do I begrudge him if he doesn't? No, because again, a lot of times it's little farm towns, it's small communities, it's kids that have never seen the world. Man, if I had been any good, Tom, and got recruiting offers, or excuse me, legitimate scholarship offers to say, like some of my peers did, Notre Dame and USC and Oklahoma and Michigan, in addition to Florida State. If I had been that good, I would have gone to all 5 of those visits, regardless if I had already made up my mind. Just because, when are you ever going to get to travel like that again? When are you ever going to get to see those kinds of places? So it never bothers me. I just like, in this case, that on the heels of all of the hoopla and stuff we saw with Kirby visiting and all that kind of stuff, my man is still saying, yeah, look, man, I may go to the game, I may go do these things, but I am 100% committed to Florida State. That's huge. So if he wants to go take all his visits, go take all his visits.
Yeah, I could tell you, and you had this experience too in the locker room where you saw William Floyd's mail time.
It was awesome. Yeah.
It was a very different experience than mail time for most everybody else. My buddy AJ in high school, we were in the same homeroom in junior year. And I remember him filling out paperwork for, I guess it was official visits, but you saw the letterhead. And that's changed now. I'm sure it's all on your phone. But I saw the letterhead for Michigan. And it's like, 7:30 in the morning, the first bell's in 15 minutes. And he's just doodling on a piece of paper. I'm like, what is that? He goes, that's my official visit to Michigan. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, and he wasn't ever going to Michigan. He was originally committed to Notre Dame, and he ended up going to Miami. Michigan wasn't a second. I mean, he just wanted to go see. He's like, I got to go see the big house. Why wouldn't you? Absolutely, you should. And the thing is, it takes a special breed of player, a special type of player, to want to go to a place that's less stable, and he wants to be the guy who turns it around. You could say in some ways it's more egomaniacal, and in other ways it's more selfless. But I'm glad that we have those kids, because also the Q&A that went up yesterday that you referenced on the show with AJ Duffy's saying all the right things as well, which is, I want to turn this place around. I want to be a reason that Florida State is a place that will pack the house week in and week out all the time. You've got to find those kids. You don't want the kids that want to take the easy road. You want the kids that want to work a little bit harder. And that's what it seems like we found T-minus 2 months until early signing day.
And it would be the first time that I can recall that Florida State's actually benefited from an early signing period, getting these kids in early. I mean, it never happens for us for a variety of reasons. Well, first of all, it wasn't instituted until recently. And so you don't have the situation where Florida State was in flux, and it's really been tough to win during that period. This would be a huge win for Mike Norvell and his staff, and it'd be a huge win for the fans who've really never seen us rewarded with an early signing period class that gets us all excited, that has us, okay, we've got the, it's no longer verbal. They're in. We're ready to go. Let's go. Yeah, that's exciting. I also know this. It does take a special person to decide to go to a school that is really laboring, that has really struggled to garner wins, when you have offers to Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State and any school in the country that you want to go to. I also think it's interesting because I don't know how you find those kids other than maybe you get a little lucky. You get a kid who's always grown up a fan or something like that, or he's a legacy kid or something. But I got to imagine those conversations had to have been very interesting, because I think you're built different. if you think that way. I think you are. I mean, we talked about this a lot yesterday, but I'll bring it back up because I think it's applicable here. Jermaine Johnson, again, I asked him face to face, why you could have gone anywhere? Why did you choose to come to Florida State? And he did point to Mike Norvell and talked about he appreciated the honesty and the approach when he put his name in the transfer portal, how it was that Mike reached out to him and didn't give him any grandiose visions of them winning the ACC or winning championships or anything like that, that he challenged him to work hard, that he said, hey, look, I'm going to be hard on you, but you got a chance to really lead and help flip this program. And that appealed to him. And I immediately thought, man, that makes you truly special. That makes you unique. You got 1 year to play and you want to come here and help change the culture. It's different when you're a kid and you're going to be here for 3 years, maybe 4, and you have the opportunity to come in and say, no, now I know year one, I'm going to be counted on to not only come in and make an impact on the field, but I've got to make an impact in the locker room. I've got to be the cornerstone of this class. I got to be the reason that kids are excited to come to Florida State. And then I got to see it through. I got to be here when we lose 6 games or we lose 5 games or whatever the total might be. It's certainly not going to be an instantaneous, we're back to 11-1 type stuff. I mean, that's not going to happen right away. So, that is a long-term vision you're committing to when you're 16 or 17 years old. That is really, really rare, truly remarkable, and something that if you could bottle, you could figure out how kids are that way and then kind of what it was that appealed to him and then use that pitch for other kids down the road who are uber talented, who would maybe be considering your school in the midst of a rebuild. I'm sure they've learned a lot from him as well.
Yeah, well, and these are the guys that I was happy for. Even the Syracuse win, which was ugly a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't even know at the time that certainly we didn't know that North Carolina was coming. Like it was a surefire win. But when it was that bad and we messed up so many times down the stretch and still found a way, I was happy for players like Jermaine Johnson, like players that want to be a part of the solution because they're not going to be here for the 10-win or 11-win seasons or runs to the college football playoff or whatever it is. So go ahead and celebrate that day because if this thing goes the way we think it's going to go long term, we're going to look back and thank you guys even more. We're going to love you guys even more. But for the now, these are the players that help turn things around. The funny thing is we always point to a player like LaMarcus Joyner or a guy like Timmy Jernigan, Telvin Smith for saying yes to Florida State and being a part of the change. They got to see it through. The difference in this case for a player like Jermaine is he's not ever going to see it through. In fact, it's going to be years. It's going to be years between the time that he finishes here and we get to where we want to go. But I hope when that time comes, when he shows up for an alumni weekend or the spring football game at halftime after he's retired, he gets the ovation he deserves because he's going to be one of those reasons that we get to where we want to go. He's not going to be a reason that we were held back. He's going to be a reason that we push forward.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that a lot of people have already fallen in love with because we've had no production from the position
ever
for a very long time. And my man now is a threat on every passing down to make plays. I also think it's just about how hard he plays. I think we underestimate the impact a singular player can have in a football team. The game itself is rightfully described as the ultimate team game, but I do think individual players in particular, obviously athletic freaks, but guys that are committed both physically on the field and then mentally, all the stuff they do to prepare to have success, you can really change culture with 1 or 2 guys like that. So there's no way that many years from now, when he comes back and things have been righted, that people won't forget that. I just think most people see it. I think that it's really something that people admire because we've wanted to be around people like that in our work life. We've wanted to be around, we've had bosses, right, that you've either looked up to or absolutely had great disdain for, and it had to do with leadership skills.
It does. Some guys lead by example. Some guys are fiery. Everybody has their own thing, but as long as you're true to who you are, it's going to work out. I will tell you though, last night watching the Bucs game internally, just in here, the highest compliment for Jermaine Johnson was when Shaq Barrett ran down 3 or 4 plays. I mean, remember he went sideline to sideline on Hurts at least twice last night, and there was another tackle he made. I think it was on a screen where the pursuit had to have been 30, 40 yards. I looked at that play and I thought, my man's running out there like Jermaine Johnson. He's not giving up on anything. And it's not that Shaq Barrett's never done that before, but it speaks to the level of commitment in the big picture and then the level of effort on the field itself that 11 has brought here to Tallahassee. That I'm watching a pro game last night. He's got a motor like 11 does. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to compare a star in the NFL to a guy that's on our team. It's been a while since we've had some players that are akin to that. I do think, though, as we get into the Libations Friday, the loosey goosey edition of the show, and we talk a little bit about how nice it is to be able to sit back and just watch a little football and not worry about Florida State. I have thought long and hard about what's still possible, because it seems every day on the chat we get a question about what's possible with the record. Everybody wants to know now that they won 2 straight games, what's possible with the record. And all I'll say is that for me, how healthy they can get is everything. So this bye is huge, because that offensive line is an entirely different animal when those 3 guys play. I'm talking about center and tackle and tackle. We both know who we're talking about there. And by the way, it's good to see it took, half the year, but one of our guards got in shape and is now impactful on a weekly basis as well. So all of a sudden, if you get their health, you're up to 4 guys that you trust, 4 that
Yeah.
you feel pretty good about. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I was impressed with what Bavion did when he came into the game last week.
Played well.
When DLT went down, and we know that DLT is not at 100%. I think we can, now that he's been banged up, I think we can shed some light on what we saw in fall camp, which is when he was finally enlisted back into the fold, he was running with the 2s because he had to get into football shape, and he was also working around injury issues, and they persist. And that holds him back from being the player that he was last year, which is your Swiss Army knife, all everything offensive lineman. But with Bavion coming in, initially I was worried. Is this going to work, or are we just going to be a sieve up the middle? Man, he road graded a couple of suckers every once in a while. So, and if you do that every once in a while, you're ahead of the curve here with us. I know that North Carolina is not a world beater, and I think that's the thing we're going to have to challenge ourselves to remember over the next couple of weeks, because UMass isn't going to challenge you on that level. So just remember that North Carolina win is a solid win, a solid-ass win, the likes of which we haven't had in some time here, but they're not like Clemson would be at peak efficiency. It's not like they're a top 15 team every year in and out. So just remember that as we're going forward. But even still, a win over anybody who's in the Power 5 for our offensive line is a significant win, because we just don't do that recently.
I have to tell you that it warms my heart to see our friends David Hale and Andrea Adelson penning articles today, why Clemson is struggling and why they shouldn't panic. Reading the quotes in those articles suggests to me they are, in fact, panicking just a little bit. And would we have said before this season began that Alabama would lose the game to Texas A&M and look absolutely mortal, as first revealed by Florida, that Clemson would lose to NC State, lose to Georgia, average just over 14 points a game if you remove the South Carolina State game from the resume? Would we have said that Ohio State would lose at home to Oregon? It just reminds me that the weekends have been wrought with surprise and upset and fun and chaos. And that's true even of the class of football, right? The teams that you wouldn't have expected. The only team that's been immune to that is Georgia. And so as we look at the slate this weekend, do we say, maybe it's Georgia's time to have a close call? I don't think so. I don't think Kentucky's quite there yet, but we do have the potential for it. You got to wonder at some point whether or not that happens, because JT Daniels not playing in this game. It's not quite the park your ass Saturday that last weekend was. But there are 4 or 5 really fun matchups. And of course that includes, and I was asked about it before I came on here, Tom, my unwavering support for Utah.
Oh, well, yes. We know that that's a headline game in your household. It'll be on TV One.
Well, at 10 o'clock at night, we could all be watching together. Everybody can. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Yes.
Let's do a watch along on Warchant TV. Isn't that what we were going to do? Just a live watch along and see the debauchery that took place during the day?
I don't think anybody wants to hear you or me 10-15 kickoff on a Saturday on a game in which on a weekend in which the Noles didn't play.
I hesitate, but I guess I reluctantly agree with you. I guess so. I think there are more surprises in store, too. Not necessarily outright upsets this weekend, but maybe some scores where you go, wait a minute, is that going to happen?
Right.
I'll tell you, man, I got a weird feeling that Kentucky's going to be game. Not to win, but to stay in the game longer than Arkansas did, certainly. I think they might be in that game. If you look at some of the advanced metrics, Kentucky is a more complete team than Arkansas. And yet, Vegas says that Kentucky is a worse matchup for Georgia. I'm not so sure that that's the right play. We'll see. I know you didn't touch on a Redemption Thursday, but at 3:30, I'm at least going to keep an eye on that game to see if it continues to be interesting beyond, I don't know, 3 drives, which is how long it took for that Arkansas game to be over a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's too big a number, man. Too big a number. All right, so the grand experiment has been fun so far. We're going to try to keep it together. We'll roll on now. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV, and, some roadcasting.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000. Why? Because money talks.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Your next chance to win is coming up during the Jeff Cameron Show at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, then click on the Real Talk Money megaphone at realtalk93.com. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, money, I just can't get enough.
Live from Tallahassee, the Holy Mother of God Greek Orthodox Church presents the Greek Food Festival. Bring the entire family. Enjoy baklava and other Greek pastries. Enjoy a complete dinner. Free admission. Come for the food and leave with the culture this Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn with Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to unmask the cause of your problem. People mask problems with medicine, even with stretching or massage. But if the cause of your problem is pressure on your nerve, you need to unmask that cause. That's what we do at Finn Chiropractic. So if you or a loved one are having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, come in, get the Phenomenal Health exam, and let us unmask the cause of your problem. Remember, chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
Hello, I'm Travis Sparkman, owner of T-Spark Enterprises. Rain season is upon us, and we get calls for water intrusion in residential and commercial space every time it rains. Most people see a ceiling stain and they think they have a roof leak. We see a ceiling stain and begin to investigate because often we find it's not a roof leak. Many of our leak investigations lead to other building construction issues outside of the roof. We beg you, don't pay for roof repairs when the water intrusion may be a masonry leak or a poor construction design in your home or business. Give us a call at 766-1340 and let our experienced leak technicians diagnose the problem and prevent you from throwing away good money. License number CCC 133-1204.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Witch Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites, only at Witch Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory's 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Loosey-goosey edition of the program, Libations Friday. Good to be with you. I'm Jeff. There's Tom and the little windows if you're watching on Warchant TV. We're not in the studio. We're broadcasting on the road today. So Isn't technology grand? Hopefully this will continue to work. I should be seeing very soon our friend Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, set to join us. There he is. I see him down in the corner. All right. First time that we've been able to do this, and really first time I've ever done this from the house. Lee, how are you, brother?
I'm good. Like
see
seeing
you.
all your stuff behind there.
Yeah, I got my Bucks, got the Lightning.
Yeah. What's with the pins?
So that's a charity bowling tournament we do every year, and I think this one was just from when we might have actually finished in the top 3, which would have been a Herculean victory for us because Tom and I suck at bowling.
I thought maybe you bowled like a 300 game or something.
Oh no, Lee. No chance, my friend. No chance.
How many birthday parties did you go to when you were younger that were bowling parties?
Oh man, I love to bowl. You'd think I'd be better. My kid. I mean, we're relatively the same age, aren't we, Lee? So I think that was frequent. That was what it was back in the day.
Right. And the only thing better was the ice skating or the roller skating parties.
Roller skating parties were huge in St. Petersburg when I was there. We would have roller skating parties all the time. And as you got older, when you got into middle school, you knew that girl was going to be there. So you didn't want to fall on your face and embarrass yourself.
Okay. So the one song I heard every single Friday or Saturday night, the roller skating or ice skating, Dreamweaver. Am I correct? Am I right?
You are dating yourself perfectly.
Yeah, I know.
They turned the lights out. They would have the stars all over the floor.
I think I got my first, second, third, and fourth kiss at the roller skating rink.
So I'm picturing Lee Sterling driving down the road in Miami, and Dreamweaver comes on, and you flash back to being in 7th grade and Katie Smith's kiss.
The only thing that's worse was I think we had a reunion in my high school, and I had 2 girls tell me, "Oh my God, I always wanted to get with you during middle school or high school." I'm like, "Why didn't you let me know?"
Yes. Oh, the what could have been are what men spend the rest of their life post-marriage wondering. Yes, that's true. All right.
Yeah.
You went you did well again last week. Let's get to the games this week. It's your Canes are looking more and more like a team that Florida State could beat later this year, buddy. I mean, it's starting to turn it on its head. But then again, North Carolina looks like a team that is disinterested as well. Is this a battle of teams that don't feel like playing much? And by the way, Carolina is given 7.5.
Here's what's interesting. And I was laughing to myself. I'm watching your game last week, and I watched it twice. North Carolina looks like Miami, but with a little better quarterback. I mean, what's amazing is they lose Chaz Surratt. That was it on defense. They've got a few things, no major injuries. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't tackle. Their linebackers taking some of the worst angles I've ever seen. They fall for every fake. Their offensive line, which returned intact, is awful now. It just happens with Mac Brown. Whenever Mac Brown, the expectations are high, I'm telling you this, falls flat on his face. And I think, didn't they sign him to an extension too?
Well, I'm in full agreement with Mac Brown, and I've told you about this before for years. I used to make fun of him at Texas all the time. So watching this play out is not surprising, and it is hilarious. And I don't know if they did or not. I just know that he looked disinterested as well. It didn't look like there was a lot of kumbaya over there on that sideline. They did not play hard in that fourth quarter.
No, they didn't. So I think the way to play this game, I'm going to lay the 7.5. I think it's a trap. People will take Miami coming off a bye. They'll be prepared. I'm hearing it was the worst week since going back to the end of the Al Golden era and also the end of the Randy Shannon era. Hearing a lot of older guys who are getting playing time, playing, 50, 60 plays. Now we're playing 5, 8, 10 plays or, a little upset. So I think the only way that Miami stays in this game is if they get up on top early. So I'm going to lay the 7.5 and take North Carolina. I think they win this game something like 40-17. But if you like Miami, the only way to play it is money line. That's it.
Just play them to straight up win the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're getting plus 230, plus 240.
No, I like it.
They're not losing by 3 or 4 or 7 points. They lose, it's going to be ugly.
I think we figured Miami out. You certainly have. It's if they're either going to win the game or they're just going to get their ass beat.
Right. No nice way of putting it.
Yeah. Cincinnati is obviously at this point, a team that wants to play for style points. They want to continue to dominate people. They ran away and hid from Temple. I thought that would be a better game. I took the 29. I was a fool. Now they've laid a huge number against UCF, given 21. Thoughts on this one?
I agree with you. So all they got to do is win out, and they're going to be in the top 4. I mean, their defense is really good. I mean, they don't get a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback, but their linebackers and DBs are really good in coverage. They break on the ball. So they're trained correctly. It just shows you these aren't 4- and 5-star guys. If you get guys and you coach them up, you can have a really good defense and have a good team. I actually don't think their quarterback, Desmond Ritter's played his best ball. I think he can get better here. UCF, without Dylan Gabriel, their backup, I mean, he looks like a glorified high school quarterback. I mean, there's nothing left. I mean, there's no running backs that scare you. There's no receivers that scare you. There's no team in the country that's had a bigger fall off as far as talent in the last 3 years here. Blowout city, Cincinnati 48-17.
Big win, another impressive win for Cincinnati. Oklahoma survives Red River in miraculous fashion. Obviously, it's a situation where that can buoy you. Lee, I wanted to ask you about this. I'm so glad we're able to do this because I don't remember a time, and I know you've got an encyclopedic knowledge, especially of quarterbacks, because that's a position you played. Can you remember a time when a guy was a bona fide Heisman favorite, thought to be projected perhaps a first-round pick early, and that he loses his job within 6 games to a freshman? Can you remember that ever happening?
I can't remember it. I'm sure it's happened, but not in the last 25, 30 years. I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
So, it's a combination of things. I think the kid was overhyped. Think that his rest of his surrounding cast has not played great either. Let's be honest. But he's not making great decisions. I think he's one of these kids and just has such a high expectation of himself. He thinks he's better than he actually is. He's got nice tools. Anyone can get back and throw the football. I've seen guys, kickers. I've gone out in fields and seen guys kick the balls, kick 60, 65, 70-yard field goals. They get in the game. We had a kicker in my high school could kick 65-yard field goals, but he gets in a game, he would kick it sideways. He was so nervous.
Yeah.
So I just don't think, for some reason, I don't think he's the smartest tool in the shed, and think he's lost confidence now. If he was smart, he would do a Jalen Hurts. He would stick it out, show that he's a man, and play the rest of the year like Hurts did. And then if you want to transfer somewhere else. But if you leave now, Hurts ended up being a second-round pick. He's a starter in the NFL. He leaves in the middle of the year. I don't think anyone touches him in the top 3 or 4 rounds. So I like TCU's offense. They've converted over 55% of their third down conversions here. Their defense is horrible. I mean, tackling is optional here, but they've lost 6 straight. I think they come to play. I can't lay 13.5 points in Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma to win the game, 47-43. That's what they do. They escape every game, but TCU covers.
I like to pick. Georgia's giving a whopping 23.5. It depends on when you got this game earlier in the week. I mean, hell, you could have got it right when it came out at over 24, which is crazy to me because I think that Kentucky team is good on the line of scrimmage, Lee. I'm not saying Kentucky's going to win the game. No, I don't think they will. But I think Mark Stoops has done a good job. Will Levis comes in at quarterback and gives you a competent arm down the field. They want to run the ball, and they want to play good defense. Georgia continues to steamroll people, and I don't know how Kentucky's going to score in this game, but that's a big number. Do you like Georgia to cover that 23.5?
I do. I think someone might down the road be able to go toe-to-toe with Georgia, but not right now. They'd have to take some injuries, or some other team would have to come out of nowhere. Also, a couple injuries. The best 2 defensive linemen for Kentucky out for this game. So it's not like Kentucky's real deep there either. So, they fall behind in this game 14-17-0. Now, Mark Stoops may, not want to let it get out of hand. He's not one of these guys that's going to throw every single down once he gets down by 2 touchdowns, but still going to have to start passing the ball every other down at that point. And they're not a real good passing team. Let's be honest. They're better than they were the last couple of years with Wilson at quarterback, but still nothing special. And I think they've gotten the most out of Chris Rodriguez. I mean, I think they've kind of tapped out this offense. Trust me, Mark Stoops' agent, not Mark Stoops, but his agent is talking to LSU and Miami right now. I can guarantee you. maybe even USC. I don't think he's USC material, but I don't think he'd go there. But he'd love to come to Miami. He'd love to go to LSU. And I think he's going to be a little distracted here. I like Georgia, 37-7.
The bottom line is he'd like to get the hell out of Kentucky. I agree.
Well,
Baltimore.
He's never, is he? How many times in the next decade he's going to be 6-0, 7-0? Maybe one more time.
Lee, a few years ago when they won, I think it was 10 games, I was saying on the air, if Mark is smart, he is telling his agent, get me out of here. I'm never going to do better than that. I'm never going to. I mean, and he's done a great job. You got to give him a lot of credit.
Right.
But, I agree. There's a ceiling at Kentucky.
Cash in before you lose by 50 points.
You got to ride. You got to ride. All right, Baltimore's given 3.5 to the Chargers. People may look at that and raise their eyebrows, or do I have that number wrong?
It's right.
That's
here's
the deal. Odd.
Here's the deal about Baltimore. It's tough to go against great quarterbacks, and I hate to go against great quarterbacks. I don't do it often. But Justin Herbert, if he's not the leader right now for the MVP, he's second or third. So you got two of the top three quarterbacks right now, the way they're playing in the NFL. If they were to do a vote on who would win the MVP, the supporting cast for Baltimore, it's Mark Andrews, and that's it. There's no receiver you fear. There's no running back. So you got Derwin James, one of the top 2-3 safeties in the game. He's going to match up on Andrews a bunch. You can probably limit him to 3, 4, 5 catches. He doesn't go for 8, 10 catches. I think they win. And also Baltimore's about 3 of the top 4 defensive backs in this game. So too many weapons here for the Chargers. Chargers play better away from home. more of a friendly crowd to them. I like the Chargers, Superchargers, 28-24, and they're healthy. First time in 4 years.
They're a fun team to watch. I love your game of the week. Tell folks how they can get NC State -3 against Boston College.
Good game here. It's wide open. I mean, we could see a Wake Forest Pitt ACC championship game. Might be 10,000 people there. Great seats available.
Yeah.
Might be able to pick up. You remember that back in the day when the Bucks were bad? My brother lived in Tampa for a couple of years. We used to walk up and pick up $5 and $10 seats.
Oh yeah. No, I remember it. I remember it vividly, Lee. Yes, I do.
Okay. They want to get that game. Just call 800-400-9741. 800-400-9741. We'll hand you the NC State game against Boston College. Got a strong feeling on that game. Do you want to hop on board if you're not already with us in the football? 247. It's Locktober, 3 weeks of football selections. We do hockey. Now, you're probably laughing. Hockey. Lee Sterling. I have someone who does it for me. This kid is a savant. He graduated law school. I tracked his plays for a year. Go to covers.com. Type in hockey last 365 days. We doubled the next closest guy. And there's some guys there, MIT grads. He smoked them. Now, I oversee everything, and I might tell him once in a while, take this game off, lighten up on this game. But no one's close to us. NBA, we had a great year last year. We do great in the UFC. Everything's up and available. Check us out, ParamountSports.com.
Love it, brother. It's good to talk to you, man. Good to see you as well. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
That's Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. He's great and has been with us now for, 20 years. Hey, listen, that's what they say, right? That's great leadership. Lee Sterling's admitted to you he could not handicap hockey, so he went and found somebody who can. That's what you do. You surround yourself with the people who know what you don't.
I like that. He came with the receipts, too. He said, go to covers.com. You don't believe me? Go check it out.
I go to covers.com all the time. There are a lot of guys there. You can really pit against each other and you can see who's hot, and everybody has their ups and downs. It's most of us sporting guys or gals, Tom, are well aware of all of those types of sites and who's on them. Those are good sites to know about. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now, the Gadsden County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in any information relating to the death of 20-year-old Sean Jermaine Potter Jr. GCSO says Potter was found killed inside of a home in the 800 block of Bainbridge Highway in Quincy on June 19th earlier this year. Gadsden County deputies asked anyone with information pertaining to the death of Potter to contact the Gadsden County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division or Potter's family. To remain anonymous, officials say you can also contact the Big Bend Crime Stoppers tip line at 850-574-TIPS. Tallahassee and Leon County have a busy weekend ahead with many options for residents and tourists to support the local economy. Events include the Tallahassee Greek Food Festival, the Florida State University Cross Country Invitational at Appalachia Regional Park, and the return of Boz Gags to Tallahassee at the Capital City Amphitheater. Some of the events were canceled in 2020, and they're making a highly anticipated comeback this year. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 88. Northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows around 70 tonight, partly cloudy. Chance for scattered storms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 85, a blend of clouds and sun. Mid-70s Sunday, upper 70s Monday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
My first call ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So it's interesting to listen to Lee talk about Mark Stoops being distracted. I didn't think about that angle, Tom, because here's the thing. That's not crazy to start thinking about. They're 6-0. That ranking is obviously a surprise for a lot of people who came into this season certainly expecting Kentucky to be at best third or fourth place in the East. They got a chance. Well, I guess in theory they have a chance to win the East. They won't, but Mark's got to look around. And we all know the singular super agent that represents every single SEC coach. When you've got a guy who has his finger on the pulse of whatever's going to happen at LSU and wherever there are going to be other changes, I imagine Mark is a hot client right now. I love playing the game, though, Tom, of coaches and how they fit. Lee mentioned something about USC and Mark not being a good fit there. Oh, completely agree. It matters. Your personality matters. Where you're from, what you're accustomed to, whether or not you would acclimate well, all those things seriously matter. So, no, of course, Mark is not I don't think from a lack of acumen standpoint, but Mark is not a candidate for USC. That wouldn't move the folks in Los Angeles, and I don't think Mark wants to live in Los Angeles. But where he would be a good candidate, I think, because they know that he can build a program now. That's what he's proven at Kentucky, is that he can build a program. LSU would work. I don't know that the fans there would be overly excited. He may not be sexy enough, but it would work. And for Miami, I guess that would work. You do have sort of a stay the course kind of guy, and Miami's going to need somebody who's a stay the course kind of guy.
Yeah, I think Miami is the best fit, and there isn't a close second place because he also had connections. Remember when he was the defensive coordinator here, Miami was his territory. Obviously, Eddie Grant and James Coley headed up they split the counties up, Dade and Broward and all the others, that they split the state. But Mark presided over that, and he has connections down through his time back down there with the U. Man, I think that's the right fit, given that they're a program that operates with less. Mark Stoops has proven at Kentucky that he can make more from less. And I think that's where the fit is really nice. LSU, I don't know that he's, for lack of a better term, I don't know that he's animated enough. I feel like that program, I know they had Nick Saban and he was a curmudgeon, but I don't know that program fits with a stoic coach. I think you need somebody who's a little bit more flavorful. Miami,
perhaps.
You could say that about Miami as a town, but look, their fan base needs somebody who could be steady Eddie. I think it's a nice fit in Coral Gables for Mark.
Yeah, Miami wants just anybody who can win consistently. So at this point, they really can't afford to be too worried about personality types. They got to find a guy who can be steady Eddie, and I think Mark is that. I will say this, the LSU job, it's so funny because we talk about it all the time. I know it's a quick segment here, and we'll go to break after this, but when we start talking about candidates for the LSU job, I start with Joe Brady. It's the first call I make. I'm calling Carolina, and I'm saying, come on, man. You made us great again, and we want you here, and come on back. It's a beautiful marriage. You know what it's like here. You know what the culture is like. You know some of the kids that are on this team because you helped bring them in. I would do that, but if he says no, I do think they turn to Jimbo Fisher and throw a Hail Mary to see because it's been Jimbo's dream job. It would make me laugh. I don't think so. But it's been his dream job.
Oh, you'd be crazy to not make him say no if Brady tells you no. You got to make him say it. And it might be that he says, look, I've got all the resources I possibly
can't do it. Yeah.
I can't do it. Now's not the right time. Fine. But I would force the issue, force his hand. As for Miami, though, yeah, I think, wouldn't it be interesting to see Mark Stoops and Jimbo Fisher on the schedule next year? That would be bizarre.
Yeah.
Talk about all the noble connections.
Yeah, no, it would be weird, but I do have a suspicion we may see Mark Stoops down there in Miami. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the praises of Crawfordville Auto and Tire. They do just about everything. Complete engine rebuilds, brakes, shocks, tires, oil change, you name it, they do it. And they offer a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on all parts and labor. Most of the time, they can service your car the same day and offer towing to help you get to the shop. Now that's something to sing about. Open weekdays from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Tom and I can first guess concerns about a game for next year, and it was elevated last night. Don't know if you saw it, Tom, but earlier, well, shouldn't say last night. It was actually on Tuesday. Louisiana 41, Appalachian State 13. Did you catch that?
I didn't catch it actually as it was going, but I'm paying attention to the Ragin' Cajuns, and I see that they're in November. I think they're locked in for the game before Florida next year. Like,
so
are you kidding me?
November the 19th, 7 days before you play Florida. Yeah, man, the 2022 schedule may start with a dud in the form of Duquesne, but it's going to end with Louisiana ranked and then followed by Florida here. And you have to hope that in a year where you also play LSU, you have a healthy team because you, for whatever reason, scheduled one of the better group of 5 teams that really play defense.
So here's what's frustrating is this is a trend that's just going to continue. You've got LSU and Louisiana next year, but then you've got Georgia, Alabama on the horizon. I believe it's Alabama first, then Georgia. And then beyond that, you've got Notre Dame mixing into the schedule. We need the college football playoff to expand because when we get good enough to make it, I don't know that our schedule is going to be conducive to going 10-2 or 11-1 just because our out of conference, we got unlucky with Louisiana, but our out of conference in general is just extremely aggressive, unnecessarily so, sir.
2023, you have out of conference games against LSU again. That one will be over there at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Then it's Southern Miss, North Alabama, and, of course, Florida every year. In 2024, as we gauge the rebuild, Florida State plays Memphis. Florida State plays Notre Dame. They also play Charleston Southern. They play Florida. It's not until I think
2024 is the year. We're going to get it done that year. That's the one.
By the way, 2025. So you got to get right by 2025. 2025 is when you play Alabama, if you were wondering.
All right.
So
the Alabama schedule won't be the same year as Notre Dame. That's nice to know.
Yeah.
We get them in a year where we don't play Alabama, but then we play Alabama for 2 and then Georgia for 2. I mean, geez, dude.
Well, listen, 2025 is a long ways off. That gives you time to get this thing righted. I'm more concerned about sort of these out-of-conference games. Whatever with LSU, we'll see. They're a mess right now. But, man, you and I first guessed this. We were talking about this really 2 weeks ago. Louisiana, not who you schedule before you play Florida. That's just not what you do.
I'm sure at the time of scheduling, they weren't really raging in that Cajun universe, but now, man, they're raging all over the place. Damn it, man.
And they love defense. They love to play defense. Hour number 2, forthcoming 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hang in on a loosey-goosey Libations Friday.
$93.3 wants you to win $1,000.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It's time to win some cash. And here's this hour's keyword.
Thrill. T-H-R-I-L-L. Thrill.
Click on the Real Talk Money Megaphone at realtalk93.com to enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, money, I just can't get enough.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Americans continue to spend at a solid clip in September. And that's despite rising prices and snarled global supply chains that are limiting the flow of goods.
The Commerce Department says retail sales rose a seasonally adjusted 0.7% in September from the month before. Consensus estimates were for a decrease of 0.5%, according to a survey of economists by FactSet. Sales of clothing and accessory stores rose 1.1%, while online sales were up 0.6%.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Gasoline stations saw sales rise 1.8%, boosted by higher prices at the pump. Sales at restaurants and bars, many of which believe they were through the worst of the pandemic until the arrival of the Delta variant, were up 0.3% from the month before. Also at townhall.com, the lawyers for accused Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz say he plans to plead guilty to the 2018 massacre.
The guilty plea for accused Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz would set up a penalty phase where the 23-year-old would be fighting against the death penalty and hoping for life without parole. Attorneys told the judge that Cruz plans to plead guilty next Wednesday to 17 counts of first-degree murder in the February 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The pleas will come with no conditions, and prosecutors still plan to seek the death penalty. That will be decided by a jury, but that trial has not yet been scheduled. I'm Shelley Adler.
The scientists and other workers at one of the nation's premier nuclear weapons laboratories face a deadline today. Be vaccinated or prepare to be fired. Dozens of workers at Los Alamos National Laboratory suing over that mandate, saying that the exemptions have been unduly denied and that their constitutional rights are being violated. More at townhall.com.
Mounds and mounds of fur. Our hairballs have hairballs.
Marquette Mama, she's 10 years old. She has dandruff and an oily coat.
I have two cats, Big T and Daisy. Daisy sheds like crazy.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
DINOVITE.com. I just tried this wonderful Catalicious Dynavite for cats, and my cat has been on it for 2 weeks. She is not scratching anymore. She's not chewing anymore. It is just the best.
I was thrilled when I heard Dynavite for cats was coming out because I've seen the changes in my dog. To introduce my cat to Dynavite, I took the advice from Dynavite and put their food on top of just a scoop in the bowl, just to get them used to it, because I know if I even switch one little thing, they put their nose up to it. There was not one problem.
Dynavite for life. You won't believe how happy your cat will be.
DINOVITE.com.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. Get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hour number 2, Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the Jeff Cameron Show. Good to have you on board. Good to be with you. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. Director Matthew overseeing the grand experiment today. I'm broadcasting from the house. That's how we roll. And also, Tom is broadcasting from his house, and you're where you are, and you're with us, and we appreciate that, man. I will tell you that I have a real hard time, and I know you do too, and I just saw it happen during the break. I was watching the replay time. How in the world is it not possible in baseball to go to reviews or go to replay on a check swing to end a series like that? You can't. I mean, that's crazy that they ended the series on that. I'm sorry. I just was reminded of it during the break because it's on in the background here, and I've seen it from every angle imaginable. It's not close.
That's my boy Wilmer, too, man. You don't do Wilmer Flores like that. Now, he was 0 for 17 against Scherzer in his career, so he's probably going to end up striking out. I think the reason they don't is because it's supposed to be a judgment call. But if it's that wrong, if your judgment is that off, not only should you be able to review it and overturn it, you should be able to remove the umpire from the field of play and just rotate your boy from right field down to first base and say, my man, you got double duty tonight like it's a regular season game. We got to get this guy out of here. He sucks.
He does suck, and it's unfortunate that a series that great ends that way. But I will say it is not surprising to see the Dodgers move forward. I wonder out of curiosity what America wants. Do they want Boston and the Dodgers? Do they want Houston and L.A. in a rematch? What would be the worst-case scenario? Would that be a Braves-Astros series? What's the worst imaginable outcome for Major League Baseball, which, by the way, and I'll move on from baseball here in a second, has had nothing but big wins this year since they made the changes with the sticky stuff. The game got better. There was more action. They have verifiable proof of that. It resembled a more fun game that could lure people back to it instead of away from it. And the postseason has been really interesting. So I am just kind of curious, what would be the big win for baseball here?
Oh, the big win is Boston, LA. The big loss is Houston and Atlanta. There's no way that carries the amount of viewership on the coasts that Boston and LA would. Even some facsimile, right? LA against Houston or Boston against the Braves. That would do way better, even though it's a fully East Coast series, I think, for the total audience for Major League Baseball. For me, all I've got left is, I know they're the evil empire. All I've got left are the Dodgers because of our mutual friend, Johnny Mack. That's it. I don't like any of these other teams. The Braves are a likable team, but I don't like that franchise. So I'd be happy for Corey Clark, obviously, if the Braves want to be thrilled for him and my brother-in-law and some others. But, man, this is not the Final Four that I wanted. This is the worst Final Four we could have had.
Anybody but the Astros, buddy. Anybody but the Astros. Let's answer Robert's question because we did allude to it in the first hour, and I have touched on it a couple times this week, but I think it's great because the kid deserves some credit, and he's been here for, I don't know, a good part of his adult life. And that's Bavion Johnson. Robert writes, does anyone agree that Bavion Johnson did a good/great job replacing Love Taylor at right guard last week? Yes, I do agree. I think he did a very good. I'll meet you in the middle. I think he did a very good job. I have talked about this that kid has been important. And the Bavion, that is. Look, in many ways, it points to just how banged up Devontae Love Taylor has been. He has not been close to the guy we saw a year ago before his injury. So when he came out of the game after getting hurt, I thought in many ways, I think Bavion Johnson's going to do a better job. Like moving forward, even if Devontae Love Taylor were healthy, I'm telling you, I think I would think about starting Bavion Johnson.
You know what? That impact was hard to deny, man. It is. And again, it's not that we don't love our boy from Warchant TV right here with
great.
Talk, but if you're not 100%, then that obviously changes the equation here because we all know that if DLT was 100%, he could probably play 3, maybe 4 positions on this offensive line better than the current people who are there. But that's not the reality of the situation right now. The good news is for so many position groups, including offensive line, after you get through this bye week and you get freshened up, I know that's a big point everybody's harping on this week, but if you do what you're supposed to do against UMass and you show up with the intensity against UMass that we did in the first half of the game against Syracuse and throughout the game against North Carolina, you're going to be able to evaluate a lot of players. And usually for us as fans in Florida State, that's the fun part because we get to see the 4- and 5-star blue chippers that are up and coming in the next 2 or 3 seasons. Right now, it's show me what you got because we don't have much. Are you somebody that can help me between now and the end of the season? Are you somebody we really like to be a player for us next year? To Bavion's credit and for his account, That game is going to be, can you continue the trend that we've seen so far? Can you road grade UMass the way you're supposed to? Because then maybe he'll outright earn the snaps against Clemson the next week. You need your best 5, whoever they are, whether or not they work for Warchant or work with Warchant or not through an NIL deal. You've got to have your best 5 ready to go against that Clemson defensive front. They're not as good of a program, but they're going to be the biggest test we see in the next month.
Oh, yeah, no, their defensive line is still elite, and they've got defensive talent that's elite across the board. So that's an uphill battle for Florida State. I'm really curious. It's tonight, Tom. I mean, we get to see Clemson tonight. Yep. And
that's a game, man. I care about that more than I do the ALCS. I want to see that game because it's a weird matchup for Clemson.
Yeah, I like the matchup for Clemson. I think they win this game, and I would like them to cover. I don't personally have a stake in the game. I'm saying that if you made me bet it, I'd bet Clemson and I would give the points. I don't know how Syracuse is going to move the football in this game. And I think that in truth, you can run around on Syracuse. You've got a quarterback that can move. They've got to get DJ moving around. His confidence has been absolutely shattered throwing the football. That offensive line's not real good. He's already having to constantly get off his spot. But why wouldn't you design a game plan similar to what Florida State just did against North Carolina? Hey, swallow your pride. I get it. That's not what you want to do. DJ's 6'5", 250+ pounds and can move. Get him out and run around.
Yep.
Get him out and run around. I mean, I would do it instantly. And if that happens, I think Clemson will cruise. Now, if they remain pig-headed and they want him to throw the ball and they want him to stand in the pocket and try to, that offensive line has struggled mightily. You could have yourself a clunker into the second half. And we know that's a weird place to play, the no atmosphere thing. We've seen it happen before. I don't know. I'm rooting for it to be fun. I hope I'm wrong about Clemson covering, but I do want to see where their head is at. I think Clemson is in a messed up place right now. If you watched some of their player interviews this past week, you see a group that's scratching their heads a little bit, and they're having to defend their coaches, which is incredible.
It's beautiful is what it is.
Yeah.
Let that guy squirm a little bit. He hasn't squirmed in far too long, and little did we know that Steve Spurrier was our ally in this fight. I remember back then, initially, when he would pick on Dabo, every single year, some of us, because Clemson wasn't the rival it is now, or it wasn't the power certainly that it is now. Some of us down here were like, man, Steve, take it easy. He's not your equal. But then Dabo became this monster who puts on the bronzer before the college football playoff show every December as they announce that they're in the playoff again. And he's all shucks. And he learned something from Steve. He's got that little edge to him. We haven't seen him squirm outside of talking about that there's a sin problem in the world and he doesn't want players paid in the last 5 years. So this is good. Let's start asking fundamental questions about Brett Venables and the fact that maybe Tony Elliott isn't the guy after all. Maybe that guy went down to USF. Good. Let those questions flood in because let that thing implode. Dabo can go take the Alabama job in 2 or 3 years or go find an NFL gig. You can see the makings are there. But Clemson has to do more this season in order to put themselves in a position where next year, the ACC kickoff, you got questions about the health of the program rather than questions about how many all ACC players are they going to have.
I cracked up laughing. We were just playing at the end of the last hour, and you just reminded me of it. We were just playing what coach fits where and why, right? And who's a good fit in, personality. Does he match the community? Does he, what is his philosophy? All that stuff. I read a report earlier this week that's this is so great. That said that lunatic Al Davis's son is looking and has been talking to people about reaching out to Dabo.
Oh, come on!
Please make it happen. Can you imagine? Can you think of a worse fit in the world? A, Dabo coaching professional football. B, coaching professional football in Las Vegas. That would be hilarious. He's already concerned about sinners. Can you imagine him in Vegas?
Typically, the types that preach about sin are the most sinful among us, sir.
Yes.
Not to get too Sunday, preachy, but usually those guys are the ones that enjoy a town like Las Vegas more than most, and in ways that you can't possibly fathom.
Oh, I hope the day comes that he signs that deal, and within 2 years they find him in a hotel room with an underage hooker and mountains of cocaine. That would be the most glorious moment in the last 20 years.
With the House of the Rising Sun playing in the background. Like he's Sharon Stone in Casino. It's like, it was too much for Dabo in the end, and we never were enough.
We can dare to dream, my friend. We can dare to dream. Him going to Vegas would be the best. And I'm just picturing the stories and the headlines and the captions and the moments he's being led from the hotel room. It would be too good. I mean, that would be.
He's got aviators on, just because he doesn't want to look at anybody in the eye.
He's got no shirt on. There's there's blood on his arm. We usually make these references when we talk about anybody who has the inability to resist temptation taking jobs in Tampa. That's not what you want to do, boys. This is a den of iniquity. Do not take that Tampa job if you can't just keep it between the lines and go home every night.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be walking arm in arm with Urban Meyer, too, with Dabo Swinney, because Urban brought up Las Vegas out of nowhere. Urban, what about Columbus? Well, in Las Vegas, Trevor was there, and you got to be careful. What would you know about Vegas, Urban? Oh, I'm sure you know everything about Vegas, Urban. Yeah.
Dabo and Urban in the adult pool at the Palms. That is correct, Ryan. That is a good time. I mean, and what we have also figured out is those guys – I mean, I said this about Urban Meyer. I mean, we've already knew that he was a fraud and that he was morally bankrupt. We knew that for a lot of different reasons. He's revealed that countless times. But I also said the biggest thing we learned about him when not flying home with the team after a loss and then hiding behind wanting to see his grandkids instead getting drunk and grabbing ass. The number one thing we learned was that he doesn't have friends. Because there's no chance that a friend who understands your influence and your high profile stature would ever let you have that 17th drink the second you get handsy. They're going to be like, okay, all right, listen, Tom, we got to go home, man. This is getting loose. There are people here. Everybody's got a phone camera. We got to ride. This is no good decisions about to be made. Let's go.
Urban, I've seen this song and dance before. I mean, come on, Urban. Remember that roadie to Happy Valley? Come on now. Just getting to that level. It is, Urban. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
You can't tell. We can see it. You can't. Just trust us. Let's go.
Well, you got to have a guy. You got to have a guy that has your best interest in mind. He loves you, and he cares deeply about you, and he knows that you struggle in certain areas, and when those moments are presented, he's there to intervene, or she, whomever, whatever, typically, because if that guy cannot be counted on to make good decisions, and Urban has proven time and again he cannot be counted on to make good decisions, you better have a right. Hell, the Jacksonville Jaguars should have probably hired a guy to make sure they shepherd Urban everywhere he goes and allow him to be the hypocrite that he is, but just put their arm around him occasionally and whisper in his ear, okay, we're at that point, Urban. We've reached that point.
Yeah, it's the Jerry Jones, Des Bryant plan. Just
that was the best ever.
You have got somebody shadowing the whole time. And you know what? It's not a bad plan. It's not a bad plan for Urban. The funny thing is, think about it. Now that we're, 2.5 weeks out of that, and Urban was saved by John Gruden, by the way. Maybe he was the one who leaked it. Maybe he's got a friend in the Washington organization, and they're the one, because he needed to take the heat off of him. It's perfect timing. But, man, I'm just thinking about all the things he said. Like, people visited him at the restaurant, and they wanted to take pictures, and he got dragged out of there. Like, think about that. It's more ridiculous by the moment, that particular idea that he got. It was mad when he first said it, and now it's just ridiculous. Like, how could you be in that locker room and respect that guy? How could he ever earn it back?
He won't earn it back, but I don't want him to fire him. I want him to have to endure the hell. I want him to sit in Dante's Inferno. I want him to have to sit there day by day, hating his life, knowing he's lost all respect amongst. Listen, he began his tenure there by losing respect in the locker room with the first two things that he did. He hired a coach, the strength and conditioning coach from Iowa, who had basically been let go for racist comments. Okay, so right off the bat, strike one. Then you bring in Tim Tebow, who hasn't been on a football field since 2012, and you give him a roster spot, in essence, taking it away from a guy who's A, practicing hard every day, plays the position and is out there, and B, it's a circus, you're doing it for PR reasons. Nobody respects that whatsoever. And then 3, this happens. So he's already done massive amounts of damage to both his character, but his reputation within the locker room has long gone. And I want him to have to feel the weight of that every day that he walks in there and they lose. Now, if you're a Jags fan, that's not what you want. If you're a Jags fan, you're saying, fire him, let's move on. This isn't going to work. The players aren't going to play hard for him. Agreed. But from the outside looking in, I want him to have to endure it. I don't want him to be able to take his ball and go home with a weighty paycheck because he screwed things up and then he gets his wish by being ousted before the season even ends.
You know the best part about this weekend for him? They had to go to London. They're kicking off at 9:30 on Sunday. They're playing the Dolphins at Tottenham Hotspur. So the handlers are going to have to follow him across the pond to make sure he doesn't stop by a pub near you for a little late night action after that game's over.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready to take it on home with the quickness after that game. I'm actually picking Miami to win that game. I told you I laughed this week. There are 2 rules of thumb when a bad team is giving points, take the other team. The other rule of thumb is if you're facing Jacksonville, always take the team that's not Jacksonville. So that's like, I do think the Dolphins are going to win that game, and things can't get much worse because they're not playing real well right now, and they haven't been playing well in weeks. My man Flores, I don't think he's lost the team in the same way Urban has, but boy, has Miami taken a huge step backwards.
You don't want to play a now or never game in London, like plain and simple, because we thought the now or never game was on Sunday against the Bucs, and they put up a fight for a half, but then the Bucs ran away and hid. This is a must. I mean, they got to go across the pond and go play the Jags, which they should beat, but weird things happen in London, like overs all the time. I don't think it happened.
Yes, it did.
It did? It hit the
47, over? And I had over 46.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, it did.
That late touchdown. That was a backdoor cover, the likes of Philadelphia and Tampa last night.
Let me tell you something. I bet the over 46 in London because I told you 68% or 60, whatever it was, 67, 68% of the games that have been played in London over the years have always gone to the over. And I was sitting there watching that game. Now, that's how degenerate I am. I'm watching that game, that god-awful game. And when that last score happened, I was like, you beautiful. You know what? Yeah, I was so happy. I was 47 points. There we go.
So my question for you is, were you enjoying a mimosa at the time?
No, I was not. No, I had actually forgotten the game was on. I don't usually watch the London games because it's always 2 sorry-ass teams that we don't care about, i.e. Miami, Jacksonville this weekend. But then I tuned it in the third quarter.
You know the worst part of that game? The worst part about it, among many things, is it takes the NFL Network pregame show off the air, which is the best one. I'm like, could you go on CBS for that pregame show that nobody watches with Phil Simms and Boomer? Could you just put the game on there? They put it on NFL Network, and that is by far the most entertaining 2 or 3 hour lead up to NFL Sunday.
Do we want to we'll step aside here. Do we want to come back and we'll get mom's picks from last week? That's what we'll do next. We've even got my mom on the StreamYard and the advanced technology where she's at her house. I'm here. You're there. This is great. We're making it happen on a Libations Friday. Yes, Tom.
I'll tell you also, I'm going to go downstairs and grab the birdhouse and bring it up so I can show it so she could see it for the first time during this segment you're going to bring down.
I thought you were about to say, hold on a minute, I'm going to go downstairs and grab a drink. Because this feels like the pandemic Zoom calls that we used to do where everybody was drinking just to get by. I thought you were about to, Tom, we're on the air. We're on the air, man.
Matthew, kill the 93.3 feed. It's time for a libation. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, Libations Friday, Real Talk Radio, 93.3 and Warchant TV.
From Tallahassee, the Holy Mother of God Greek Orthodox Church presents the Greek Food Festival. Bring the entire family. Enjoy baklava and other Greek pastries. Enjoy a complete dinner. Free admission. Come for the food and leave with the culture this Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Burno Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Burno Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at burnoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
Hi, I'm John Patrick, host of the Augusta Golf Show. Every week I talk to the biggest names in the game, the players, the historians, the journalists, and more. It's the Augusta Golf Show, Saturday mornings at 7, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The 8th annual Taptoberfest at the Brass Tap in Midtown is back. It's all happening this weekend starting Friday through Sunday with no cover charge and no entry fees. Bust out your lederhosen and enjoy a hand-picked selection of local and craft German beers. Plus, your favorite beer-soaking snacks like brats with sauerkraut and stuffed pretzels with beer cheese dip. Don't miss the 8th annual Taptoberfest at the Brass Tap in Midtown starting this Friday. Find out more on the Brass Tap Midtown Facebook page.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
That is the smell of amazing barbecue from Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. There's only one thing that could possibly make Kenny's Amazing Barbecue better, and that's an ice-cold adult beverage. Now you can do just that. Pair an ice-cold beer with all your Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue favorites. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of Havana. Get your fill at the grill.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It is just about that time, and it's just like last week, I realized I failed to keep tabs on what occurred. I don't know if Mom gained on me or if I extended my lead or not. She'll be here to join us momentarily. It's the first time I've really seriously looked at this slate, Tom, just checking to see which games I'm most excited about. Would you nominate Arizona and Cleveland for that? I would.
Oh, absolutely. It's at 4:00. Last week, you took the Bills and she took the Chiefs.
So I extended my lead. Yeah, That's nice. That's a good one. That's good. All right, cool. Well, if you would then hit the sounder and let's get caught up. Let's get to.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room!
The meatloaf! Take it away, Jeffrey.
All right, making her StreamYard debut is Mama Cameron. There she is, all smiles and happy to be here, of course. Hey, Mama.
Hi, I've got my Buck shirt on.
Yes, you. I figured you would. I thought you might be surrounded by nothing but Bucks paraphernalia, so that's good.
Well, if I'm going to do this more often, I got to get this place a little more glamorified. It's
yeah, I agree with you. All right, so I had Buffalo last week, and they pound the Chiefs. So what is my lead up to now? Is it 3 or 4?
I think it's 4.
I do too.
I think it was 3, and then you won last week. I believe it's 4.
All right, it's 4 games. So you got to buckle in here, Mama. This is it's about to get away from you.
I know. Well, but I remember I keep telling you last year I think I was 5 down, and I came back with a resounding victory. So
roaring back. All right, so the boring game in London, Miami, and Jacksonville, 2 teams that are struggling, to put it mildly.
I'm taking Miami. I don't know. There's some games. And this slate, I know you were just talking about that. There's some either really not so good games or some killers.
All right, we both have by the way, we both had the Bucks last night, and obviously they won, and that was relatively easy. They tried to make it scary at the end, but they get the win, and they just keep on keeping on. And then now from there, we both have Miami. So Green Bay at Chicago.
Yes, I have Green Bay.
Cincinnati at Detroit.
Now that game, that coach, I love that coach. Bless his heart, he cried last week. And I think that team is really so close. And I kind of think they might win this week because of all of his emotions. So anyway, I'm picking Detroit.
I like where you're headed. I like where you're, Mom, you can't talk while I'm talking. Hold on.
Sorry.
I like where your head is at, by the way. Also, I feel bad for Campbell as well. They've lost on field goals, the likes of which are obscene. 66 yards, 58 yards, off the post, every other way imaginable. But I do think this is a good Cincinnati team, and I'm going to lean that direction. I'll take Cincinnati, so we got a game difference right off the bat.
Okay, I figured you would, but I've just got to take Detroit for that coach.
Houston at Indianapolis.
Yeah, that game is another one. I'm taking Indy.
The Rams at the Giants.
I'm taking the Rams.
Kansas City at Washington.
Yeah, now that game, I don't know what's going on with Kansas City. Do you have any insight into that? I took Kansas City, but I don't know. That's kind of concerning.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right. It's a get-right game for them. Washington isn't nearly as good as they were a year ago on defense. Kansas City's problem, Mom, is their defense sucks. So that's where they're at. Yeah. Minnesota at Carolina.
Yeah, I took Minnesota. Doesn't Carolina, they have some people that are out, and one of their main guys is hurt, and I don't know. And I think Minnesota is better than their record.
I think they're both pretty damn average teams. This is a coin flip game for me. I've really struggled with it. I'm going to take Minnesota as well, though. I will. I'll take them to go on the road and get the win. Here's a fun game. The Chargers traveling cross country to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, I know. I know that's always difficult, but I took the Chargers.
Me too. We've got Arizona at Cleveland in the game of the week.
Holy smokes. Isn't that a game? The two Oklahoma quarterbacks, and holy moly. I'm taking Arizona.
I think I'm going to take Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland here at home. That should be a fun game, though. Arizona's got to lose at some point. I'll take Cleveland here to eke one out. I've got the, oh, my God, what a jumbled mess they are in Las Vegas on the road against Denver. I think we're both going to take Denver here.
Yes, I think they are a jumbled mess there, and that's got to be very hard on their morale and everything. So, yeah, I took Denver.
Dallas at New England.
I'm taking Dallas.
The Seattle Seahawks travel to Pittsburgh.
Right, but now they're without
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who plays quarterback when he's not playing?
Geno Smith.
Oh, Lordy. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a toughie. I, too, will take Pittsburgh because of that. Okay, we've got Buffalo at Tennessee.
I'm taking Buffalo.
Me too. All right, Mama. We don't have much in the way of differences again this week, but there it is. I've got Cincy and Cleveland. You've got Detroit and Arizona.
That's right. Okay. All righty. Well, yeah, that's not, we just have two different. Okay. Well, maybe I'm going to make a big bet. You're right, Tom. Go Bucks is right.
But that's the birdhouse.
Oh, that's the birdhouse. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. I'll be. That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Is it really a birdhouse? I mean, it's a true birdhouse.
Oh, yeah, it's made out of wood. Yeah, the funny part is, well, not funny, but in retrospect now, this is the worst week to do it. But it says in the very front, Chucky for president. So we're going to have to find a different slogan.
Oh, yeah, we might have to paint over that.
Yeah, I think so.
Just paint over.
I've got red paint.
Paint over that and put Derek Brooks for president. There you go.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that. Yeah, that's a shame, too. Because I don't know. I was always a big John Gruden fan, but Not anymore.
No, I love you, Mama. Thank you.
I love you too. This was fun, this streaming thing we did.
We'll do it again another time. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
There goes Mama. That was fun. All right, so just the two different this week. I'm 4 up as we head into the weekend. I kind of like her hunch on the Detroit game. I got to be honest with you. I could see it.
I just like her reasoning is I feel bad. The man cried. He's had a lot of tough beats.
Did you watch that press conference?
No, I had no idea that he was weeping at the podium like Dick Vermeil. No.
It wasn't like Dick Vermeil. It was the opposite. It was a studly cry. It was like this man was broken because he cared. I mean, first of all, he's huge. Nobody's ever saying a damn word back to him. That guy's a monster. Secondly, he was crying. I mean, I've not seen a team lose in that kind of dramatic fashion as frequently as Detroit has this year. That's just cruel. I mean, first of all, man makes a 66-yard field goal on your ass. That is just wrong. Secondly, you lose this game just like that again in another long and improbable field goal. And, you saw he was talking about how hard the guys have worked, how many times they've been in a position to win a game. And in the midst of talking about how hard they were working, he had to pause. He was trying to keep it back, but his eyes started to well up. I was like, look at my man. Okay. So I could see players maybe playing hard for that guy. I think so.
They keep losing dudes to injuries, though. At some point, you're just not good, and then your depth is hit. I mean, don't we know that story here on Saturdays for so many years? But at some point.
You know who does continue to play well for them is DeAndre Swift. Just keep it up, DeAndre Swift. You keep going, baby. Every week.
I wonder why. I wonder why you're rooting for him.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Is asking for the public's help and information pertaining to missing 40-year-old Stanley Hutchins. TBD says Hutchins was last seen on October 9th in the 1300 block of Jackson Street. Officials say he was last seen wearing gray shorts and a dark-colored suit. Authorities say Hutchins is around 5'11", 180 pounds with brown hair and dark eyes. Anyone with information is asked to contact TPD at 850-891-4200. Tallahassee appears to be becoming the epicenter of a culture war. The school board has been cited for violating the state's mask mandate ban. Leon County is the only city so far to have been issued a notice of violation for requiring employees to be vaccinated, and now the city is joining a legal challenge of HB1, the so-called anti-riot legislation, all over a provision that allows a state to intervene if local governments defund police. Some are saying these issues won't be resolved until the 2022 election, when Governor DeSantis will be facing 2, possibly 3 Democratic candidates. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Mac & More Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macandmoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 88. Northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows around 70 tonight, partly cloudy. Chance for scattered storms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 85, a blend of clouds and sun. Mid-70s Sunday, upper 70s Monday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 88.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road, and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
What do you think the speed has been, Tom, that we've required from our friends at Xfinity to do this broadcast today from our respective homes while Matthew's there in the studio? Here we are on our Roadcasters, StreamYard, you name it. Are we at what are we at? What is it called? I don't even remember all the different speeds that Xfinity has.
Well, I think we're on many megabits. The most megabits, the best megabits. We need efficient megabits to be able to run the show. And we need bandwidth to be able to do it. And we're also making sure that we're hardline, right? You've got the hardline connection to your Xfinity modem. Is that right?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I mean, the Wi-Fi is fine. And the Wi-Fi with Xfinity is great. You can find hotspots all across the country. If you're an Xfinity customer, you can find them. And that way you don't run up your data charges on your phone. But we want to be plugged in because we need to be – look at this. Look at the HD quality of your background right there. I'm looking at it.
Incredible.
That Pirates helmet is amazing. What is that? Is that Screech from the Nationals? Who is that? Or is that the Pirates mascot?
No, that's the Pirates mascot.
What's his name?
It's a parrot. I don't know what his name is. I don't care about him.
Jolly Roger? Is that his name or something?
Yeah, I don't remember what his name is.
Well,
Pirate Pete. I don't know.
Pirate Pete. Well, the point is, I wouldn't be able to see that in crystal clear quality without the quality of internet that we have, which is America's finest internet, and that's Xfinity.
I thought you were going to point to the little Buccaneers guy over here, or you were going to talk to maybe over here at the football where Mike Norvell is thanking me. That's a signed ball where he thanked me. There's a lot of good.
Okay, that's the Norvell ball. Yeah. See, I gotta spruce it up. I've got a few things back there, but there is some bald spots.
No, this is good. Our thanks to our friends at Xfinity. Get started. Call 1-800-XFINITY. Visit Xfinity.com or drop into an Xfinity store today for more details. There you go. Smooth read, buddy. So there you can see. There's one. There's another one. I got another ball there that's signed. I've got a lot of stuff. My wife has now taken on the responsibility. I changed things out. Now that's the Walker Cup flag from the Walker Cup that I was able to get from John Pock. That was awfully nice where he thanked me for my support. But I have a bunch of different things that we can change in and out of here throughout the course of these shows that we do from the house when we do them, or any of the Warchant reports or any of those type of things.
It's easily next to Gene Williams, who has a locker and he built, the stuff.
Oh, he's got a man cave for the ages. Yeah.
Right. But next to his setup, it's easily the best on the staff. And the cool thing is, again, we're trying to do this from our homes. Successfully, we are doing this from our homes thanks to Xfinity. That's the way that we're patching in, and Director Matthew is there back at the studio. But none of this is possible if we don't have the internet quality that we need. So it's not just when we do the shows from home, folks. There could be times, and I mean that non-radio shows, but there could be times that you see us on the road and we're in wild places. Like yesterday, you were talking about going to the Dakotas. Maybe we can go to the high country and do a broadcast at some point.
Oh, buddy, the day will come that we take it to the high country to do a show with our roadcasters.
And I'll tell you what, if that bar owner that we find and we say, hey, can we patch in? If he says, that's fine, I have Xfinity, I'm not going to have any doubt whatsoever.
Man, this is the world champion of reads. You have done Xfinity a solid, the likes of which most companies will never get. I want to point out something here. After last season's cancellations due to COVID-19, FSU will host a pair of exhibition games, by the way, at the TLC-CC. Thursday, October the 28th. Here we are, Tom. It is October. It's October the 15th. Thursday, October the 28th at 7 o'clock, Mississippi College comes to town. Division II Gulf South Conference, if you're wondering. Friday, November the 5th at 6 o'clock. It's the Aubrey Boyd game. We all know about that one. Florida College, NAIA. The Continental Athletic Conference will come to town as well. And we've got more updates on Florida State basketball because we've got times and days. We knew dates. We didn't know, exactly what time of day recently. Now we do. So right off the bat, when we play Penn, we're going to be on the ACC network at 9 o'clock at night, Tom. The Florida game is a 1 o'clock in the afternoon game, as it's been a lot lately. That's going to be on ESPN. When we play Tulane, that's an 8 o'clock game in November on the ACC network. We need the ACC network to I guess, certainly improve their coverage in general, since they are a proud basketball conference.
Yes, and we are, what do you think? One of the 2 or 3 leading faces of said basketball conference in the last
Correct.
5 to 10 years. I mean, that's not up for debate anymore. That's just what we are. And with Coach K departing, who knows if Duke can continue that excellence? Man, if you're doing a power ranking for the next 3 to 5 years, you'd be hard-pressed not to put Florida State number 1 or number 2 in the conference, given the upheaval that's happening at Chapel Hill and then next year, obviously, in Durham.
Well done using upheaval, especially the way you enunciated upheaval. Yes. Purdue's game, that game against Purdue at Purdue will be on ESPN at 7 o'clock. Syracuse, the ACC home opener, is an ESPN game as well. We have a stretch of a bunch of ESPN games. It's cool. When we play South Carolina in beautiful Rock Hill, South Carolina, Tom, that is also going to be an ESPN game, ESPN2. So we have several. Then you'll see some RSNs and TBAs and ESPNUs and stuff like that. But a lot of games on the mothership there.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the schedule yesterday just because, and I noticed that I think it's the month of February, as we go down the stretch, we play 3 consecutive roadies on Saturdays. You know, you like to have those Saturday afternoon crowds, but we're going to go on the road for 3 consecutive weeks on Saturdays to play pretty good teams as we close down the season. The final week will be Notre Dame here, but those 3 weeks prior, they're good teams we're playing on the road.
Oh, buddy, to answer your question, to illuminate that, you are correct. February the 12th, we play at North Carolina, 2 o'clock on ESPN. We do get a Tuesday game, which is never fun, against Clemson. That's here. But then we go back on the road February 19th on a Saturday against Duke. That is a 6 o'clock game, ESPN. And then we're on the road the following Saturday again, as you noted, at Virginia. And that is an ESPN game as well. So those 3 roadies in successive Saturdays are Carolina, Duke, and Virginia. Yeah, that'll test your mettle.
So that's why in the first half of the schedule, let's go get fat, because the first half of that ACC schedule is one that you can rack up the wins just in case. It's not that we can't beat North Carolina or we can't beat Virginia or Duke. We beat them all the time.
That's correct.
You play 3 consecutive Saturdays on the road in those circumstances. Yeah, that 1 and 2 in that stretch I think would be acceptable. Would we take that right now, or are you greedy enough and say you want 2 and 1?
Well, it's funny because I've learned not to underestimate what this team is late in the year and what they can become. You know, on the surface, if you tell anybody, I'm talking about any team in the country just about, hey, right now you'll go 1 and 2. If you want it, we'll give it to you with 3 roadies again at the end of the year when you're tired against Carolina, Duke, and Virginia. I think most teams would take 1 and 2 there if you could guarantee it, right? Yeah. But I have to admit, man, I'm one of these guys that has so much faith in what they've been able to put together and the way they gel most of the time. I mean, you don't make 3 straight Sweet 16s unless you're doing something really right. I'll take my chances. You know what? I'll take my chances. They've earned that from me. Let's go play the games and see what happens. I don't need to make a bargain.
I do like that the ACC gave us the opportunity to, even though it's here and not up there, rectify the loss to Notre Dame from last year late in the season. Remember that one and how awful that was and the timing of it and just everything about that game should have been easy breezy, and it wasn't. I think it was their senior day at Notre Dame, and that was a bad team, but they got up for one particular game, and it affected our seeding. As it turned out, we ran out of gas last year anyway as a group. We maybe had played 1 good game in our last 6 or 7.
Yeah,
we've got a chance to make that right. Welcome Mike Bray to town and tell him to get the hell up out of here. And you're a part of the league too, but you're a part of the league that loses to us every time you come down to Tallahassee. That's what you are.
Yes, that would be great. By the way, the ACC tournament, not to go overlooked here, the capper on the basketball talk before we come back and look at baseball. Make some picks, actually. We're going to add, since there's not a lot of baseball left, we're going to make some picks on the back end here, Tom, of the games that we're most excited about on the college football slate. But just so you know, Tom, this technology that we've used today, and it's gone swimmingly, and we're in the waning minutes of our Friday show. Yeah, this travels. That's why we wanted to test it. Just so you know, in March, that's right, the ACC tournament is in Brooklyn.
Ooh.
Oh, buddy.
When
I
walk the earth for a month between frequencies and website occupations, I scoped out so much good stuff that you can find in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make that trip.
Yeah, that's I'm in it. That's a good trip. That's March 8th through the 12th, and then on the heels of that, buddy, I'll be off to Montana. But that's a different conversation for another time. We'll talk about that later. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out to Montana in March. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll get into that at a later date. In fact, let's come back, wrap it up momentarily. Let's look at those games. We'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. T-SparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. We've experienced a couple of blockbuster months recently. What does that mean to you? It means we have a whole lot of quality pre-owned vehicles. And just when there are rumors about high prices on pre-owned cars, you guessed it. At Kraft Nissan and Infiniti, we are discounting every single pre-owned car, truck, and SUV on our lot. Instead of Dad dreaming of a new truck or SUV, why not bring him out to the Kraft Brothers lot on Mahan Drive to look at SUVs and trucks? Match what he wants. Kraft Pre-Owned has dozens of Toyotas, some Ford F-150s, and Ram 1500s. And of course, we have a big supply of Infiniti and Nissan vehicles. If we don't have what you're looking for, we will do our level best to find the car you want. Let other dealers charge you too much for pre-owned cars. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti are saying right now is the best time of the year to save on a quality pre-owned vehicle. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti of Tallahassee on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if the car you are looking for doesn't have the Kraft tag on it, you'll pay too much, way too much.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Reaching retirement age can bring up a lot of questions, especially regarding Social Security. In 2021, roughly 65 million Americans will receive a monthly Social Security benefit, totaling over $1 trillion for the year. Do you know how to maximize your Social Security? This is Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions, and I can help. Contact me today to schedule a free consultation to learn how you can get the most out of your Social Security. Find me online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com. That's collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Wrapping it up on this Libations Friday. Thanks for bearing with us as we engaged in the grand experiment. I think so far so good. I'll have to go back and hear that audio, but I think we've been able to pull it off, Tom. That is exciting. I'm looking forward to being able to take this show on the road. That's really what we were trying to do today, to find out how easily we could do that. I think we have figured out some ways to make it happen. By the way, Probable is brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services. North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. All right. Yay. Yay. I didn't even bother with it. I'm so disappointed. We got so robbed of what we wanted. I will say that. The Red Sox Astros should be fun. Dodgers Braves. Come on, Atlanta. Can you please? I can't root for the Dodgers. I can't do it. By the way, today for Boston, it is Chris Sale and Framber Valdez. So that's your matchup, Red Sox, Astros. Now, you and I, Tom, wanted to go through and take a look at some of these top 25 matchups or the Friday night games as well. Any of these games that you want to start with, fire away. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, I see that there are 2 ranked games there right now, but I think the game that we're all looking for tonight is in the ACC. So I'm going to switch over to the ACC very quickly, and I'm going to see that Clemson-Syracuse number 13.5. It's holding. It's holding at 13.5. I like Syracuse to cover in this game. I think we defer on that. Is that right?
We do. I'm going to this harkens back to the old days, Tom. We got to put it up on the big board. You and I head-to-head, some matchups for the first time in a long time. I will take Clemson to cover tonight and hope like hell that I lose this bet.
I think I still owe you, I don't know, a small truckload of tall boys. So
I got on a run late at the end of our time there, Tom, and we both know it was everybody gets hot sometimes. So, if you see me out and about in town, just go ahead and pick me up a tall boy every now and again.
Okay, you got it. No problem. As for the rest of the slate tonight, I mean, it's just something to be on the television. If I'm feeling froggy on a bye week, then I guess I'll stay up and watch Cal and Oregon if it stays interesting at the second half. But
I think it will. I think it will, Tom.
Okay. All right.
I think
Was that a part of your slate on the other place of employment and work on YouTube?
I got the under in that game. I will tell you that I think that Cal will be in that. It's really weird. That game is the game is weird. First of all, Oregon, since they won the game on the road against Ohio State, has not looked like that team. Very strange. Remember, we never thought highly of their quarterback to begin with because we saw him when he was at Boston College.
Correct. He could be great for drives at a time, even a half at a time, and then awful for a full game or 2 at a time. That was always the hallmark of who he was. Yeah.
Tom, he's completing 51% of his passes.
Yep.
51%. That is sorry. I mean, you are going to be in games if you only complete 51%. No matter what you are out on the perimeter, if your quarterback can't hit those guys, I'm telling you, it should be fun.
Do you agree with Lee Sterling on the UCF Cincinnati game? Because Gus does get up for one game inexplicably every year. I know he doesn't have players, but they should never have beaten Alabama all those years at Auburn. I wonder if he's still got the magic to dip into that 1 week game plan, and the hook at 21.5 might be enough.
I think Cincinnati rolls big. I agree with Lee. I'm not a Gus guy. I've ripped him since the start of the year. I thought it was a bad hire, and I still think it's a bad hire. And no, I don't like the game. I love Oklahoma State, Texas. That's a great game. This is a gut check game for Texas because you come off a devastating loss, obviously, a game in which you led 28-7 in the Red River. Now you got to turn around and face an Oklahoma State team that's undefeated. And oh, by the way, here's the problem with a game like this. When you're mentally, if you're not in it, Oklahoma State plays great defense right now. That's the only way they win games. It's crazy to think about Mike Gundy teams playing good defense, but it goes back to last year, and they continue to do so, and they run the hell out of the football. So they're going to challenge you to stick your head in there. It ought to be interesting. Should be a fun game. So should Auburn and Arkansas. Florida, I think, probably ends Ed Orgeron's time at LSU.
That 11.5 just feels so damn light for the situation that LSU's program is in.
Well, this might be the game in which Max Johnson decides to pick up the phone, Tom. So I'm just here to tell you that be watching that game closely. We may have a decision to make here in Tallahassee.
We both agree that Kentucky and 21.5 is a better play than the other side, right? That's a lot of points.
I got it at the beginning of the week at over 24.
Okay, well, that's a good. Yeah, that extra field goal helps matters.
Take the under in the Purdue-Iowa game. Both play good defense. Take the under in that game if you're wondering.
Okay. Alabama, Mississippi State. Do you think this is a classic case of Alabama getting things right and then obliterating Mississippi State, or
yes,
the road at Starkville is closer than the experts think?
By the way, Eric, thank you so much. Thank God it's Friday. Get some eat drinks for football games this weekend, Jeff and Tom. See you guys next Friday, UMass weekend. Sounds good, Eric. Appreciate you contributing to the cause. I think it's a get-right game for Alabama. I do think Alabama has real problems on defense. I don't love the Mississippi State offense.
Okay. I like this game, NC State and Boston College, because it tells us a little bit more about what we're going to be seeing in the back half of the season. I know we got about a minute to go, but that's one that even though it's on ACC Network, I'll do the extra legwork to go find it and put it on the TV because I want to scout Boston.
Tom, do you want Boston College, buddy?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not playing the number. This is a pure work. This is a work game to watch, not one for money.
And then there's the capper, buddy. Saturday night, 10 o'clock. Utah to take control of the division at plus 600. Come on, Utes. Let's go, baby. Run the football. Let's go.
Do you want me to pick Utah just because for you? Do you want me to pick? Because it's a pick 'em.
No, you pick whoever the hell you want to pick. I pick Utah in the offseason, so I got to ride and die with my Utes. By the way, thanks for making this possible, Tom. Good work. Really good work as well from you, Matthew. Thanks for you guys as always. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Libations Friday. Peace, everybody. Be good.